So, good morning, all of you. Rather, it's good afternoon. So, today we are going to discuss about a particular type of disaster, that is floods. So, basically, what are floods? Floods are it is a natural event or occurrence where a piece of land or area that is usually dry suddenly gets submerged in water. So, all we Mumbaikars are very, we can say, well versed or very familiar with floods because it is a matter of routine occurrence in every monsoon. But still, in Mumbai, especially the flood is more of it is a natural event, of course, but many man-made factors are there which contributes to the flood, which we'll see today. But basically, we see when we'll discuss floods, the floods are more so in case of the you can say where the rivers are there in the region, in the plains of the rivers, the villages or the cities which lie into the that plain of that rivers. The flood is a common occurrence. So, introduction to flood. If we see just the definition, a flood occurs when the geomorphic equilibrium in the river system is disturbed because of intrinsic or extrinsic factors. Intrinsic means inbuilt factors of the particular river, or there may be external factors which are not allowing the river to flow in a proper direction, or when a system crosses the geomorphic threshold. Flooding in a river due to aggradation of river bed, that is also one factor, that is intrinsic factor. And flooding in a river due to heavy rainfall, that is which is not due to the rivers cause, like melting of the snow, and this is there in the Himalayan belt. So there is a flood. There are floods which are in the northern Indian regions. So those are type of the river itself has aggregated. So that is intrinsic threshold, whereas due to heavy rainfall or due to man-made factors, the flood which occur, those are extrinsic factors. So floods in major cities, especially during rain, are proving to be disastrous, not only to the environment but also to the social fabric of the particular city. So, especially in Mumbai, the floods are occurring also in Chennai. Many floods have occurred in the recent past, and some floods are there in Delhi, but that those are not that frequent as compared to Mumbai and Chennai. So these two cities, they are experiencing quite a large amount of floods.
Sir, Assam and Bihar.
Yeah, Assam and we are talking about specific cities, na? Specific metro cities. Assam, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, and all regions are there which are facing severe floods. But in case of cities, metro cities, if we talk about metro cities, Chennai and Mumbai are the, we can say, worst sufferers of floods because of their systems, na, their drainage system. We will see the Chennai case study, Mumbai case study, and Kerala case study, and then we'll also see the Uttarakhand flash flood which were there in 2013. I request you all from henceforth, mechanical students, please try to avail your official ID so that you need not ask me for login every time. Because if you have that official ID, you can directly enter the classroom or rather the meeting room. So flood is a state of high water level. Look, in the exam, from the exam point of view, how you have to write the question, because if a question is there, okay, write a short note on floods. It is a very general, you can say, general note you can write, but it should cover the expectations of the question. So you should be very specific in what you write, because even if you write tens of pages, but you cannot cover the entire, you can say, you can write an essay, but you can still miss out some points. But if you write at pinpoint exactly what is expected from the question, you'll get good marks. So flood is a state of high water level along a river channel or the coast. You just see these two words. It is generally along a river channel, or it is generally along the coast, that leads to inundation of land. Inundation means filling of land by water. That is known as inundation, which is not usually submerged. Usually the land is not submerged; it is above the river bed. So river level. So excessive rain, rupture of dam or levee, rapid ice melting in mountains can overwhelm a river and send it spreading over the adjacent land called floodplain. The land which is there just besides the river, they are more prone to the floods. The Assam, and in Assam, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, many rivers flow, na? Ganga, Brahmaputra, and its tributaries, many rivers flow, and hence the flood is more prone, or you can say more prominent in those particular regions. Of course, the Himalayan ice also melts, which contributes to the overwhelming of the river. Coastal floods occur when a large storm or tsunami causes the sea to surge inland. This is there because generally in the coastal belt the rainfall is heavy. The cyclones and storms are there, which cause sudden rains, and or sometimes tsunami is also there, which causes the sea to surge inland and water is carried in, and that the land becomes inundated. Moving water has tremendous destructive power. Of course, you may have all have seen the videos, na, especially of the tsunami, 2004 tsunami. You you can see what power with the water carries with it, so that the destruction is maximum of property of even many human beings lost their lives in the 2004 tsunami because of the destructive power of water. Floods are caused not only by rain but also by human changes to the surface of the earth. This is more prominent in the metro cities. Causes of flood: major causes are heavy rainfall, heavy siltation of the riverbed. Siltation means deposition of sediments. You all have studied in irrigation, na, in WRE 1, that, or WRE 2 also you will study that the dams, the capacity of the dams is reducing because of the deposition of silt. Silt is causing the silt is occupying much more space in that bed of the you can say upstream side of the dam, so the river capacity is reduced. Even in Navi Mumbai, na, why we are getting less water, especially in May and June, this particular times. Every year this phenomenon is observed. It is majorly because what is happening, the Morbe Dam, which is the major source of supply of water for Navi Mumbai region, it is getting silted due to the you can say due to the sediments which are there in the water. The sediments settle down, and the water which is there, the water is supplied, and the sediments get settled down every year. So last year, I think so, the trenching work, the dredging work of that particular dam was carried out, and the more water is now made available. So now even in May and all, we didn't face problem this year. But this is a regular phenomena. The drenching should be carried out every year, or rather at least 2 or 3 years the drenching should be carried out so that the silt is removed. Likewise, the rivers are also silted, so the carrying capacity of water is reduced, and hence the water is spread out of the river. Blockage of the drains leading to flood of the area. This is especially observed in the Mumbai floods in 2005 and the Chennai flood also. Chennai flood is a very typical case because there was not too much rain as compared to Mumbai. Mumbai it was very heavy rain, but Chennai also there was heavy rain, but still the water was there for a week or so because of the drainage system. Landslides blocking the flow of the stream, construction of dams, reservoirs. These are all causes of floods. So basically, type of floods, flash floods are there due to sudden rainfall, sudden rains. In Mumbai, what we observed was you can classify it as a type of flash flood. Flash flood generally results from torrential rain or cloud burst. Cloud burst was observed in Uttarakhand, especially in that Kedarnath and those all regions. On relatively small and widely dispersed stream, riverine floods are caused by precipitation over large areas or melting of winter's accumulation of snow. This type of floods are more prominent in the northern Indian region because the the river water itself is increased, and even if little rainfall is there, it leads to flood. Storm surge, tidal surge, and offshore rise of water associated with low pressure weather system, typically a tropical cyclone. This was observed in Maharashtra in the late or say early June. Storm surge is caused primarily by high winds pushing on the ocean surface. So I am audible to all.
Yes,
So
sir.
again,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
type of floods can be flash floods, river floods, coastal floods, urban floods, which are there in the region. These are the major causes of worries. Urban floods. I request all to be on time so that I don't have to stop, and try to use your login, official login. Mechanical students, please try to get your official logins. It will be helpful for your lectures also, from your for your departmental lectures also. So floods, again, it can be classified according to their duration. The type one is what? One is according to the type of catchment area or the type of uh, uh, place where the flood occurs. Second is the duration. So duration is slow onset floods. Slow onset floods usually last for a relatively longer period because they build over a period of time. That is melting of the Himalayan ice can be a slow onset type of flood. Rapid onset flood lasts for relatively shorter period. They usually occur for 1 or 2 days only. Flash floods, so they are occurring within minutes or few hours, like in the Mumbai case or even the Uttarakhand case. Those are type of flash floods. So the causes of floods, geological factors are there. The soil is not you can say the coefficient of permeability of soil is not that much, so it can the permeation of water is not that much. State of ground, drainage system is a major factor. Catchment size, you all have studied in irrigation, right? Attempts at management, how the flood is managed. Land use system is also an important parameter. Catchment shape, vegetation, relief measures. So these are all causes of floods. Vegetation cover also, the type and amount of vegetation will also affect the flood, because the you can say runoff is affected. Climate is a major factor. Now the climate change is observed in the last few years. The rainfall is getting delayed every year. Usually when we were small, when I was in say fifth and sixth, the rainfall used to start in the June first week. May there were thunderstorms and all. You can say there's the pre-monsoon showers, and in June first week the rainfall used to start. But now if you see, rainfall has shifted towards June and the monsoon has shifted towards June and in the July first week. So this climate change is there. So again, the rainfall duration is reduced, but intensity is increased. Slopes, steep slopes and encourage overland flow, and gentle slope will slow runoff. So again, if the slope is gentle, the runoff will be slow and the floods will be more. Rainfall intensity, duration, land use. Okay, these are all factors I will not discuss in detail because you all know about that. Just you should know the type, and you should able to represent in the exam. Rock type is also there. Lake and reservoirs also, they will store flood water and they will reduce lag time, and again it will control the river response. So these all parameters are there. Flood impacts, of course, the human life. Any disaster, I have yesterday also told, any disaster is measured in terms of its human impact. So human life, the casualty count will decide what severe the hazard or disaster was. The human life, property life, effects on major roads, disruption of air, train, bus travel, spread of waterborne diseases, communication breakdown, electricity cut off, economic and social disruption is there. Flood benefit also, there are some benefits of floods. Floods in particular, more frequent or smaller floods can bring many benefits such as recharging ground level, especially in the arid region, the northern Gujarat or western Gujarat and Rajasthan. These all regions are there where there is very scanty rainfall. So if floods and all are there, the groundwater is recharged, and the uh, underwater irrigation systems are there. Underwater, you can say wells are there. Those are recharged, and the bore wells and all, people can drive water during the other seasons, making soil more fertile. Also, soil is becoming more fertile, increasing nutrients in the same soil. This is also there. Flood waters provide much needed water resources in arid and semi-arid regions where precipitation can be very unevenly distributed throughout the year. Freshwater floods particularly play an important role in maintaining ecosystems. Flooding can bring nutrients to lakes, which can lead to increased biomass. So this is also a benefit. Some fishes species in inundated plain may form highly suitable location of spawning, and few predators enhance their nutrients and food. So these all benefits are there. Approaches for long. Is it okay if I go by this speed, or should I slow down? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
My speed is okay, or should I slow down? Because of course
Yes,
we have
sir,
to
it is
study.
okay.
Yes, sir, it is okay.
Okay. So approaches for long-term and short-term protection from floods in India. Of course, construction of embankments, construction of reservoirs, channel improvements. These all systems are there. These are the engineering, you can say, systems which can be solutions for improving the flood. Of course, we'll discuss some more solutions. Attempt to modify the susceptibility of flood drainage. So again, designing these flood drainage systems so that the vulnerability of property and other development activities are reduced. But you all have seen, any hazard, any disaster, it is a combination of hazard multiplied by vulnerability divided by capability. So more is the hazard, more is the rainfall, more is the chances of flood. More is the vulnerability, like people are living in the vicinity of that particular river, so the vulnerability is increased. So more are the chances of that disaster, and the capacity of people is increased, so the disaster is reduced. So consists of action to modify the incidence of losses. So these all attempts should be there for protection from floods in India. Bearing the losses means living with the flood. Like we are living with the pandemic right now. The pandemic is there, but in 1 or 2 months we have to start with our activities, because if you don't start, there is a severe, you can say, there are more other ill effects of this pandemic. No, pandemic, the deaths due to pandemic, the people who are losing their livelihood, if 1 and 2 months, if they are still, no solution is found out, what will happen is, if we cannot continue in this lockdown for a prolonged period of time, because people have to get back to their routine activities for earning their livelihood. So these all things are there, especially in developing countries like India, na, where we have a large population. In developed countries like US and all, they can afford to stay at home because the government has sufficient funds to feed the families and all. Na. But in Indian context, where almost 50% of our population is below poverty line, what happens is they are like foot to mouth kind of people, hand to mouth kind of people. They have to earn, they work on daily wages, na? They have to earn daily to feed themselves. So if no activity is there for a long time, government cannot support for a long time, because government has restrictions, na, due to a large population. So some measures should be taken, so that at least the some activities are started. Of course, we have started some activities, but still it is not catering to the entire, you can say, entire human resource it should be, or human population which needs to be catered to. So measures, of course, there are structural measures which as engineers we have to provide. We can provide construction of embankments to stop the flood or divert the flood, dams and reservoirs, natural detention basin, channel improvement, drainage improvement, division of flood rivers. Of course, in irrigation, WRE2, you may study some of these. Non-strategic measures are also there. Non-structural measures are floodplain zoning and flood proofing. Planning of the, as a disaster manager and mitigator, you will plan the zoning, and also evacuation and other measures can be planned. Flood preparedness and community level awareness. People are made aware. People, through appropriate news, through appropriate authorities, the news is reached to them about the floods which whenever they occur, for them to move to sufficiently safer places. Flood forecasting and early warning systems, this can be developed. Afforestation is there. Of course, if afforestation is there, what will happen is the floods can be, because the roots and all will absorb the water, and the water level in the inside the ground, water will be recharged, and again the floods will be, runoff will be more. Public relief, flood insurance, these are systems are there, measures. So we'll discuss about the Mumbai floods. So the 2005 Maharashtra flood, as it is called, because it is not only in Mumbai. Mumbai was the most severely affected, but it was in the entire coastline of Maharashtra. So 2005 Maharashtra flood refers to the flooding of many parts of Maharashtra, including large area of the metropolis Mumbai. So it affected severely Mumbai. The average rainfall of Mumbai is 242. This is centimeters. The average rainfall of Mumbai is 242. By mistake, it has become millimeters. It is centimeters for the year. Annual rainfall. It is not average rainfall. It is the annual rainfall is 242 mm. That is, if you translate it into centimeters, it is 2,400 mm. Can you imagine 2,400 mm? Roughly 2.4 meters. So the floods caused on that particular 24-hour period was 994 mm. That is almost 1,000 mm. That means almost 40% of the year's rainfall was received in a single day. Can you relate it? Can you relate it with the year's rainfall and the day's rainfall? Hello? Are you understanding what I'm trying to tell? What I'm trying to signify here?
Yes, sir.
So almost 40% of the entire year's rainfall was received in a single day. So the previous high record of rainfall in a 24-hour period was 575 mm in 1974. In Mumbai, especially in a 6-hour period, there was rainfall. Out of this 994, almost 600 rainfall was received in a 6-hour period of from 10 a.m. to say 3 or 4 p.m. So tremendous rainfall was there in that particular short duration, which lead to a substantial or sudden, you can say, flooding in Mumbai. So of course the city is divided into many zones. There is a western suburb which caters from Bandra to the Dahisar Borivali. There is an eastern suburb where Kurla and all these regions are there till Mulund, and then the southern or main suburban city which is there. The main city is there, which is from say Matunga Sayan till the southern part. So population in 2001 was 11 million. Of course, it is around 20 million. It is 2 crore in 2020. So these are all 2001 figures because the flood occurred in 2005. So based on that, the parameters were discussed here. So generally, the 30 to 35% rainfall occurs in 2 to 3 events. Any 3 or 4 days are there in a particular year where the 30 to 35% rainfall occurs. So that particular days heaviest rainfall is there in a particular uh, region. So you can see the land use change. Why we are discussing this? Because it has caused the 2005 floods can be attributed majorly to the land use changes. Of course, the land was, of course, the you can say rainfall was very heavy, but still the impact which it had on human life was quite more as compared to if precautions were taken, if mitigation measures were taken, the impact would have been less. Flooding would be there. Flooding could not have been avoided. At least the intensity of flooding was quite increased due to the land use changes. You can see the land. You can see the built up land which was there initially. Only few pockets of land was there built up in 1925. But what happened in 1994? Even in 2000 now, even more regions are there under the built up land. Now what happened in 1994 or 2000, around 2000? You can see how much the built up land got increased and it choked up the drainage system. So the major problem was in the drainage system. Sewage system was badly choked up. Underwater gravity system, the water could not flow under gravity. It had to be pumped out. Of course, there are many pumping, you can say, pumping stations around near and around Worli, which pump out the drainage system when the high, you can say, high flood sea level is there. So collection, conveyance, treatment, pumping, discharging to streaking. This system is there. What happened in 2005? Na? In addition to the flood, there was a high tide level. So the BMC was not able to pump out the water which was there inside the Worli Creek. Why it was not able to pump out? Because the water itself in the sea was high. So where will it pump? That was the major challenge. But of course, in the internal suburb, the problem was more because of the blockage. Storm water more than one. Now the Mumbai region, this city, still the problem is there because the design drainage system is 150 years old system. It is designed for how much? 225 mm rainfall per hour, and you can imagine 994 millimeter per day was there. So of course it was above 50, it was almost 50 millimeters per hour rainfall was there. And in fact in the 6 hours which was from 10 a.m. to say 4 p.m, the rainfall was say more than or about 100 millimeters per hour. So it was only designed for 25 millimeters per hour, and runoff coefficient also less, so it could not carry the water and the water was blocked. Underwater upper gravity system is also there. It is not closed. Now Mumbai gutters and all there are open, and also that compounded to the problem. Collection disposal to creek was a problem. You can see the profile of that particular year up to July. So you can see from June to July this profile is there. So June also there was sufficient rainfall. 1 or 2 days were there where high rainfall was observed, but suddenly in July there was a spike in the rainfall. You can see almost 950, 990 amount of rainfall was received in different rain gauges. So factors aggravated the disaster in Mumbai. Anti-drainage system. The present stormwater drainage system in Mumbai was put in place in the early 20th century. It is capable of only carrying 25 millimeters of water per hour. It is also
Yes,
clogged
sir.
at several places. The BMC did not have, you can say, the BMC did not have drawings of the drainage system or the drainage system that Britishers built. What they did then in the last few years, last 4 or 5 years, they have done a good survey using GPS and all for locating the various potholes, and the drainage system is now again it is attempting to make it proper, but still the waterlogging and these problems are still observed. Only three outfalls way to the sea are equipped. That is in I think Mahim, Worli, and one more place is there near the other. So they are equipped with floodgates, whereas the remaining 102 directly open the sea. So this problem is there. Project consisting approximately 600 crores was before the Mumbai rainfall of 2005. This project was proposed by UK-based consultants for studying the matter. They had proposed if this project was done, maybe the floods would not have occurred that severely. The project was planned to have completed by 2002. It was aimed to enhance the drainage system through larger diameter stormwater drains and pipes using pumps wherever necessary. So this system was suggested. So if project was implemented, it would have doubled the stormwater carrying capacity. You can imagine, na? 50 millimeter per hour would have solved our problem. So BMC committee rejected the proposed project. Why rejected? Because the cost was too high. What was the cost? It was 600 crores. I want all of you to just remember this cost because when we'll study the impact of flood, this cost will be of relevance. Uncontrolled, unplanned development in Mumbai suburbs. Development in northern Mumbai suburbs is haphazard and buildings are constructed without proper planning. This was there, especially in the last, not in the last few years, but say in the period from 1960s to 1980s, 1990s, many cities where many unplanned development was there. So drainage plans in northern suburbs is chalked out as when required in particular area, not from an overall. So the suburbs, the drainage plan is just from a case to case basis. It is chalked out. Destruction of mangrove ecosystems was there, especially in the coastal region. So mangrove ecosystem which exists along the Mithi River and Mahim Creek were destroyed and replaced with construction. The Mithi River was a, we can say, the cleaning and all the system is still cleaned several times, but still the drainage you can say it is still sediments are deposited and it is getting silted due to the human activities, and also construction is there just besides the river, which is contributing to the problem. The Mithi River, if some of you live in that area, na Kurla Kalina area, they may be knowing about it. The Mithi River now it is a blackish type of river. Previously in 1970s, people used to do fishing in that river. It was a very, you can say, clear river type of river. Due to human activities, now it is just like a gutter. Hundreds of acres of swamps in Mahim Creek have been reclaimed and put to use for construction by builders. These ecosystems use a buffer between land and sea. It is estimated that Mumbai has lost about 40% of its mangroves between 1995. So this contributed to the floods due to builders and encroachments. Sewage and garbage dumps also destroyed mangroves. Bandra Kurla complex was created by such time. Bandra Kurla complex was developed in around that area only. So again, the mangroves were destroyed and the complex was built, but it contributed to the floods. You can see some images of the Mithi River. Cleaning and all is done, but still it is not up to the mark. Loss of life. It was estimated that 500 people lost their life in the flash floods and landslides. One case was there where stampede was occurred 2 days after that event. So due to a false tsunami rumor or dam break, rumor was there that a dam has break. So people just a stampede was there at Vileparle. So residents of low-lying coastal areas who had faced the floods just 24 hours back, 48 hours back, panicked and rushed towards higher ground. 16 deaths were due to the trapped vehicles from suffocation in cars during the flood. 12 deaths due to electrocution, 5 due to water collapse, 25 more deaths due to waterborne diseases and all were observed. Damaged building, you can see 50,000 buildings were partly damaged, fully damaged were 2,000. So it had a very severe impact. Commercial establishment, 40,000 establishments were damaged, shops and all. Impact on roads, submersion of roads and traffic jams. Most arterial roads in the subways in the suburbs severely affected due to waterlogging. 52 local trains were damaged. 37,000 auto rickshaws spoiled. 40,000 taxis, 900 buses damaged, for 10,000 trucks and tempos grounded. You can imagine. These all figures are there in Wikipedia. You can see. So, of course, I'll share the slides also, but in any case, you can just refer. So, 437 primary health centers, rural hospitals, residential premises, and all were damaged. Education and schools, more than 20,000 classrooms were damaged. 97 school buildings collapsed. Communication, information, television exchange came underwater. Phones stopped working. So radio operators helped radio contracts during the emergencies. Financial impact effects, financial costs of flood were unmatched. Of course, they cannot be, they were intangible, but still some measures were there to cause to study the impacts. It caused a stoppage of entire commercial trading and industrial activity for days. ATM networks of several banks stopped functioning because they were, of course, in the water. Bombay Stock Exchange and National Stock Exchange stopped for a day. The premier stock exchanges could only function partially. One day was totally lost in that, and also bank holidays were declared, so they were not able to function properly. Total loss, that is tangible loss, was estimated 550 crores. Now the project itself was of 600 crores, but the losses is of 550 crores. You can imagine if the project was taken not only for that particular flood, but for the all future floods. The हाँ, anybody has any question?
Yes, sir.
हाँ बोलो ना.
Sir, what was the reason of that sudden heavy rainfall?
The reason was the look, there was a depression, the cyclone, you can say the pressure was there, no? The low pressure area was created in the Mumbai, over the Mumbai region. So cyclones were there, like the cyclone was predicted this time also. The prediction was there that there will be rainfall, but people could not imagine, it was beyond their, you can say beyond their imagination, that such a heavy flood will occur. Of course, one day before, the Konkan belt is there, na? Means from the area from Goa till, you can say, Panvel and all, na? There it was the flooding was observed one day before. From 25 July, there was severe, you can say severe floods were observed there also. So people or the government or the authorities has sufficient warning that the floods will be there, because of the low lying belt was created, low pressure area was created, and all what happened, all clouds converged to a particular, you can say particular place, all clouds converged to a particular place, and because of that low pressure area, there was a heavy was observed, cloud accumulation was observed, and it led to a sudden rainfall. Of course, there was no cloud burst or such thing, but still the clouds just accumulated, and they went on accumulating, because what happens now, the clouds from the low pressure areas, they come towards the, sorry, the high pressure area comes towards the low pressure area, and they get accumulated, and hence the rainfall was tremendous rainfall was observed, and it led to a flood. But the water could have been discharged only because of the drainage system and the encroachment of land, and all regions contributed to the accumulation of the flood. Water was there, of course. It is a, you can say, natural phenomena. The rainfall is a natural phenomena, but due to human activities, the problem was aggravated. So effects on Mumbai, an entire day, the Mumbai airport was stopped. Over 700 flights were cancelled or delayed. Rail rings were disrupted. Of course, there were many, you can say, just rails were just washed away in Kalyan and all these regions. So rails were disrupted. Cancellation of several long distance trains up to 6th August. You can say 10 days, no connection was there from Mumbai to the other parts via rails. Mumbai Pune Expressway, which witnessed a number of landslides, was closed for the first time for 24 hours. So you can see unprecedented 5 million, that is almost half a crore people, that is almost half of the population at that time, and 2.23 million MTN and landline users were hit for over 4 hours. So there was no phone connection also. Rescue and relief measures. So government machinery along with local officers and MCGM immediately got into action and for desired relief and rescue. So many relief operations were done by the fire brigade. Like people were stranded in over bus stops, na? Why water, they were in the bus, BHT bus, and water just kept on rising, so they just climbed on the bus stops, somewhere on the, they went over the bridges and all, no? Over flyovers and all, and then they were rescued. As the water went on increasing, the fire brigades and all these teams were, they carried out major rescue operation, and hence the damage was reduced. Municipal machinery tried to evacuate people through boats and buses. Evacuated people were sheltered in public buildings, including school, for a week or so. 7 to 10 days they are sheltered. Free food grains were provided by government of Maharashtra and MGM, as well as voluntary NGOs and individuals. 3,700 stranded peoples, rescuing school children, as well as rescuing people from 140 maroon. Maroon means the you can say flood if the BST buses which are inside the flood water. Food packets and drinking water were arranged. 25,000 people were provided relief at 15 locations across the city. Affected people were shifted to municipal schools, local buildings on 27 July, and then they are kept at isolation because now most of our population na, in Mumbai lives in slum. So these are some images. People made chains and all. Na? These chains were made for because they were stranded. Where to go? They were not aware because many potholes are there. In Mumbai, the problem is the open drainage system. Na? So people are not sure. So again, they avoided the roads and they just took the footpath. At some places, they just formed a human chain for going to safer places. Mitigation measures, what is done after that? Of course, still a lot of work needs to be done. In transportation infrastructure, the road levels and all, the level is increased of the roads. Service and related infrastructure is work is being done on that. Housing infrastructure is made is better so that now laws are there. Now people are not or generally even laws were there before also. Now that the plinth level is made quite high now in Mumbai. Communication and public information, upgrading wireless communication, setting up display boards at various regions. Display boards will make sure that a particular they will just display signs, no? Because not all people have access to or they are not frequent news watchers, no? So at least there should be boards and all electronic boards should be there, which will just flash that whenever some flood is likely to be occurred. Using cable TV for information dissemination, this is an important mitigation measure because people should be made aware. If they are made aware, they can go to safer places. Land use policies and planning, improvement and protection of landfill sites, control of land reclamation, shifting of storage of hazardous units from residential areas so that the hazard is less. Recovery. So Mumbai, the spirit of Mumbai was quite evident on that day. As a Mumbaikar, everyone tried to help each other. Common man was on the roads to help. Government was providing all necessary support. Power supply, rail, transportation, airports started normally within. Airports were started immediately the next day. Power supply took say 4 to 5 days. Railways were started in say 10 or so days. Life back to normal within 24 hours for the people, except those people in that Kurla and Kalina belt. Na? Rest all people they were back to normal life within 24 hours. Business as usual because it is said that this city never sleeps. So Mumbai, the business as usual was started in the financial capital. Financial markets were back on track. Assessment, the government did some assessment. So it provided assistance to shopkeepers and stall owners and making assessment of the damages. Also coordinated with insurance and banking sector to provide immediate relief to shopkeepers, traders, entrepreneurs. Government started distributing assistance for partial and fully damaged houses. So there, some houses were given assistance to the tune of 5,000 or so. Especially the ground floor houses were there. No? The records and all were just tallied, and they were given assistance because they were completely cut off from their homes because water was there, water entered their house, and they were not in a condition to live in their house. So some assistance was provided so that at least they can carry out their day-to-day basic needs. Coordination was done with NGOs for effective channeling of release and rehabilitation. So generally, many NGOs, many government organizations, they distributed 20 kilograms of food grains to a house, 10 liters of kerosene to flood affected families free of cost. Ground floor apartments in Kurla, Kalina, and surrounding regions were given monetary assistance of rupees 5,000 per house. Government of Maharashtra seek sustainable solutions in terms of restoration of natural drainage even today, but still the floods and all are there. Still the solutions have not been properly found out. It would like to replace century-old drainage system for the city of Mumbai, but it is a we can say it is a more humongous work because a lot of work needs to be done. And now the cost, which was there in 6,000 crore into 20 years back, it till now it will be anywhere around 2,000 crores. They receive adequate central assistance for undertaking these mitigation measures such as floods does not offer again in the city of Mumbai, but still the floods are there. So immediate action, hydrological monitoring, sensing by radars, topographical contour mapping, evacuation roads and facilities, upgraded railways, culverts, electrical supply. These all immediate action needs to be taken so that the flood impact is less. Disaster management plan, urban planning, electronic media, interactive role of NCGM. These are the immediate strategies which should be catered, which should be developed so that the people are you can say they are less impacted by the flood. Long-term strategies, of course, improving the transportation system. So even if the flood is there, people can be moved from one place to the other. Pumping facilities can be improved. International example, many low-lying cities are there which are successfully able to just make the cities flood-proof or at least reduce the impact. Global warming can be checked. Land for middle income and low income housing should be allotted so that affordable housing schemes are designed so that these people they don't live in slums. Urban planning and management, emergency preparedness, financial support, these are all long term strategies. So just we'll quickly overview the Kerala floods. Two floods we'll discuss more, Kerala and Chennai. We'll just overview. So Kerala, of course, it is the most recent flood which is there in your memory. Of course, the Bihar and Orissa flood is there, but this flood, the magnitude was quite more as compared to the other floods. So Kerala had a wide stretch because it is a, you can say, all of you have seen the map of Kerala. It is a long stretch. It is not that broad, but it is a long stretch. So you can see population is around 3 crores. So this is just a general information about Kerala. Its area is around 1% of India. So it shares the border with Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. So there are four regions. Of course, in Mumbai the climates are different. In Kerala the climate is slightly different. So they have two monsoon seasons. That is southwest monsoon season, that is June to September, and northeast monsoon season, that is in October. So they have slightly more rainfall as compared to us. So it received a very high rainfall on evening of 8 August, resulting in dams to fill. So they had made in Kerala, it is such a reason because they have several dams. There are many rivers in Kerala and they have several dams. So what happened in that particular case? So heavy rainfall was there on 8th August, in the evening of 8th August, resulting in uh, high rainfall in resulting in filling of the dam capacity. So what happened? The dams have no option but to release the water. Otherwise, if they would not have released the water, there would be breach of or breaking of the dam. So in the first 24 hours of rainfall, the state received around 300. As compared to Mumbai, it is still less. Mumbai, it is said to be the second highest rainfall ever recorded. The first highest rainfall is recorded somewhere, I'm not sure, particular region in, I think so, Lakshadweep Islands. But it is the second highest rainfall recorded. So in Kerala, it was just, you can say, one third of the rainfall which is recent, but still, it was a substantial rainfall. So almost all dams had been opened since the water level it was close to overflow, and they had to raise the order, otherwise there will be dam break. So for the first time in the state history, 35 of its 42 dams had been opened at suddenly, and people were warned, but still they were opened because they had to release the water. So most of the regions affected by monsoon were classified as ecological sensitive zones by the Western Ghats, because these are all uh, you can understand ecological sensitive zones means they are very rich in the, you can say, they are very rich in the they
Mineral.
are very rich in the vegetation and all these. Yes, anybody has to say anything? Hello, anybody comment wants to comment on this?
No, sir. I was saying rich in minerals.
Rich in minerals also, and rich in, you can say, minerals, plus there are lot of plants, no, vegetation and all is quite diverse in that particular zone. So it was called rich zone in different type of vegetation, different type of plantations, coconut trees and all other trees, mangoes and all that. They are very, it is a very rich zone in that sense. So it is. So it is again, some people call it God's own country, right? Because it is a very, you can say, ecologically rich state. So 370 people died, which the disaster, as I said, it is classified, or it is the severity is defined by the number of casualties. So 33,000 people have been rescued. So many, you can see the numbers estimated that 12 lakh 50 25 47,000 people, they were affected by the disaster. So rescue, of course, it has been 42 rescue teams. These all things were there. Will not go into too much details in this. relief and monetary aid was provided. 500 crores from international. Many people, na, even our college, in our college, we had run a campaign. Na, students even contributed, and then we gave to the particular relief measures were sent. Even this person, B.R. Shetty and Yusuf Ali, they are the Gulf, you can say, kingpins. Na? They provide quite substantial relief because they are primarily from Kerala. So again, Kerala started donation website for, like, many people Google many e-commerce websites and all. Now they just give their this. Then we'll talk some things about just a small presentation. So Chennai flood, because this is a prime example of urbanization. So the geography of Chennai will just discuss water resources, causes of flooding, population, and the impact of flooding. So geography, there are three type of areas in Chennai: the clay areas, the sandy areas, and hard rock areas. Anybody from Chennai here?
Yes, sir.
Abdul
Okay.
Samad.
Abdul Samad is from Chennai, so he may be more familiar with it. So these are regions which are there. So these are three type of regions, na? And the drainage should be planned according to the type of region. But what has happened, na? The Chennai, of course, the drainage system which is still followed is the ancient system which was developed by the British. So there is no major updation, and what has led is it has led to the flood. Even many floods are observed, na? So these observed even today, but the 2017 flood was quite tremendous. 2016-17 floods was quite tremendous. So these are the various lakes which supply water. Of course, these lakes are not connected to each other, but they supply water to the city. So November 2015, what happened na? 121 centimeter of rainfall was observed. So you can imagine in a particular 1 month period that heavy rainfall was observed. Of course, this is not a 1 day rainfall. In Mumbai, what rainfall was occurred? Almost 10 centimeters in 1 day. You can imagine. So this particular amount of rainfall was occurred. So it was very heavy rainfall. Received a 100-year record-breaking rainfall on a particular day. That is 27 centimeters. You can imagine 270 mm rainfall, as compared to Mumbai, it is almost one fourth, but still it caused a very heavy impact because of the drainage system. Causes of flooding: unregulated urban planning and illegal construction of buildings. This was major cause. Improper design and maintenance of drainage system. Climate change and rise in population. This bridge was a, we can say, iconic picture of the Chennai floods, because you can just imagine what intensity the flood was there, because the bridge almost at stop was about to submerge. Unregulated urban planning and illegal construction. Chennai flood is a natural disaster of unprecedented scale. It provided lessons to improve urban planning and improve governance. Unless you allow the drains to flow freely to the sea, water will be clogged, and that is what unfortunately happened there. So this was the comments which were made by Mr. Prakash Javadekar, who was Union Minister of Environment and Forest at that time. So Chennai had about 600 lakes in 1980s. Now these are reduced. I've already shown you how few lakes are there. They were in healthy condition. So Chennai flood was a direct result of unregulated urbanization. Chennai has lakes with naturally built flood discharge channels. So we have built over the drains, blocking the flow of water. Over the drains, the structures are built. Many you can see human settlements have come, and we have forgotten the art of drainage. This was a comment by Center of Science for Environment. So what happened is it led to a sudden accumulation. What happened is the water had no water just collected, like you can see na, a vessel is there. You put a vessel, the water will get collected inside the vessel. So it was just like a vessel. The water was collected inside the vessel. So improper design and maintenance of drainage system. So this was the comment. These are various reports which are just quoted. So Indian Meteorological Department announced warning in the month of September that there is a likelihood of floods in November, December, but warning were they were just they were just ignored. A division from Buckingham Canal to the sea could have saved the so this is just one canal which is there in Chennai. If a diversion was there which was created, it could have saved the south of Chennai. This was the report by that particular controller and auditor general. Population growth, of course, the population, like all urban centers of India, the population has grown tremendously. So the people, what they have made now, they have converted lakes into human settlement, and the drainage is affected. These are also increased and all. So this has led to a substantial drainage. So you can see from 2001 to 2015 how the population has tremendously increased. Other reasons, this lake overflowed and it was opened overnight without any pre-announcement. People were not informed. Drains of lakes were occupied by buildings, tremendous population rise, deforestation, rise in temperature, no payment for lakes, influences of flooding. You can see even some pictures are there. So Chennai can be further prevented by from flooding by constructing structures using proper plans. Lakes should not be occupied by people. Drainage of lakes should not be occupied. Lakes must be properly maintained. Flooding is a result of global warming. We must be ready at any time to face any disaster. So these are all just measures. So these are the references which I used. Okay, I can understand time is over, but we also started late, right? So just a moment, I will just calculate the attendance sheet.